Well, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. And as you guys can see, it's going to be a an all-screen stream tonight, and we're going to be talking about the radio silence situation. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, um, they have made a decision. I guess according to a source, obviously, a friend of Craven's. Um, Said that they basically are not going to be doing Scream 7. So that's going to be very interesting. Um, so wait for some people to get in here and just kind of chat a little bit. But yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting. I was very shocked, in the news because I thought that they would come back for another trilogy, or come back to finish the trilogy, and I turned out to be wrong. So um, it's very, very shocking. You know, I did not expect this news. As I was saying, um, I was expecting them to come back for another movie, but apparently I was wrong. And um, it's very shocking news to say the least. But like I said, I'm just gonna wait for some people to get in here and hopefully, chat about it a little bit. But this stream is basically just a stream, as you guys know. I mean, as you guys could see, my background, we could talk about Scream 7 theories, whatever. Like, who do we think, who do we think is going to make the film? Um, because obviously there's going to be somebody different making the movie. Probably going to be somebody like I think Spyglass. If I'm not mistaken, I think Spyglass is actually a part of. I think they're a part of. If I'm not mistaken, I think they're a part of Radio Silence. I'm gonna play some music. One moment. Play some music here. See what music I really like. I think this is good. How's it going, Blanco? They are part of Radio Silence. Spyglasses, the child camera. Oh, okay. So basically, I don't know if they could be making the movie or not. But how you doing tonight, Blanco? Um, like I said, we're just going to be talking about this whole thing, this whole situation. We could talk about Scream in general, because that's what the stream basically is. But um, hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, thank you for letting me know that. I didn't really know 100%. Like I was saying, I didn't know 100% Spyglass was a part of Paramount or a part of Radio Silence. But no, it seems like they're a part of. You said they're a part of Paramount. They're a child company of Lionsgate, Warner Bros. And Paramount. Oh, okay. So I think Spyglass could definitely make this film. If I'm not mistaken, I think that if, that's just my opinion. Because if they're not a part of Radio Silence, well, I guess they could definitely. I think most definitely they could make it. Spyglass would always be making the movies. They own the rights to Scream. Oh, okay. I'm just talking about like what like movie company like because since Radio Silence is not going to be doing the movies, I don't know if like I don't know if Paramount is still going to be involved. I'm assuming they probably will. Um, but yeah, you're right. Because Spyglass owns the rights to Scream. I thought Paramount did though. I don't really remember, but I think you're right about that. Paramount is just a distributor. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense then. So they're just a distributor. They basically are in control of like the money and all that. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um, but yeah, I was very, very shocked about this news. Like, I don't know who's going to be stepping forward, to make the film. Like, I don't know what other movie company there really is. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but I'm kind of shocked by this news that, Radio Silence decided to, to step away and move on to do other stuff. I kind of figured that they were gonna finish the trilogy, but apparently not. I don't think it really matters much. They don't get see anything. Yeah, the movie will probably be the same anyways, and it probably won't make a difference. But unless Kevin Williamson gets involved, which if Kevin Williamson gets involved, well, I think the movie will be a lot better than it was with Radio Silence when they were, I think it'll be a lot better because he's a good writer, and he wrote a lot of the other Scream films as well. The only one that he didn't write was Scream 3, but I still found that film to be underrated. So, still pretty underrated, great film. They apparently already writing and wrote Scream 7, which means the new director just comes in and can like neighbors about. Oh, okay. That's what I heard too, but I don't know how true that really is because we haven't got really nothing in regards to Scream 7 as I know of. All I heard was that Radio Silence was, gonna step away, and they're not gonna be returning. I mean, that's what I had heard. That's all I heard. But I hadn't heard anything in terms of like them making, or I never heard anything about like the writing and all that of Scream 7 or anything, because apparently Scream 7's not even like greenlit right now. So for all we know, it may not ever happen, but I'm pretty sure it will happen. It'll probably just take a few years. Because if you think about it, Scream 3 didn't come out till 2000, so 2 years after Scream 2. So they may be going with that, kind of what, Scream 3 did. That's what I'm assuming. But I guess we'll have to see, because I know 100% that they're making another Scream film. We just don't know we don't know if it's like greenlit. It's not even greenlit yet. Like, they haven't came out and announced it yet. But as good as, Scream 6 did, I'm pretty sure that there will be a Scream 7. It'd be hard for me to for them to not, make a Scream 7. Especially to, have a trilogy, So I don't know. And supposedly, a lot of people were saying that supposedly, this film's they're already filming and this and that. I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe that they're filming or anything, because like, again, we haven't got any news in regards to the film. We only got like these articles, out there that are probably fake, more than likely. So I really don't think that we got anything in terms of, like I said, like real news, and that's why I tend to believe we're probably not going to get this film probably for another couple years or so. That's what I think. That's the way I feel. But I guess I could be wrong. But I think that it's probably gonna take a few years for us to get it. Just because, like I said, we haven't got any news yet. So, I mean, I just feel that way. I don't know what you feel like, but a lot of people just feel like they need to quit making the Scream films. But again, they would lose a lot of money if they did. So it wouldn't be easy at all for them to just quit making the Scream films. For anybody, really. I mean, these films as big as Scream and Halloween, they have to keep on moving forward. You can't just quit making them. They can't announce anything due to the writer's strike. Oh, well, I heard various rumors. I haven't heard anything like in regards to the film, and that may be why. That may be why. But me personally, I've never heard anything, absolutely anything, in regards to like when I heard a rumor that they supposedly started filming, as I was just saying, but that's about it. I haven't heard nothing else about the film. All we can do, I guess, all people are really doing, I guess, is speculating at this time. I mean, they could be filming, but personally, I don't really think so. I mean, all this could just be speculation, But who really knows, I guess. But to me, I don't think we're gonna get it until 2024, 2025. Excuse me, 2025 is about around the time that I think that we're gonna get it, when it's gonna release. Like, they have to make more because they haven't made their money back from purchasing the franchise. Yeah, exactly. And plus, these movies are famous and they're big. Are one of the biggest slasher franchises in horror movie history. Like, it's basically illegal for them to do during the writer's strike. Well, that's actually pretty interesting. Like what is the writer's strike? Like, I don't really know what that really is. If you could kind of explain, because that's very, very interesting. Maybe that could be why we haven't got any news. But all we can really do at this time, I guess, is to speculate on what we think. I mean, and like I said, it's fun to speculate on all that, but if that's the real reason why they haven't gave us any news, well, I guess that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I don't really know what the writer's strike is, but yeah, it's very, very interesting. Because I know for 100%, like I said, I'm 100% certain, 100% certain that we're getting another Scream film. There's going to be a Scream film. We're going to get it probably in 2025. We're not going to get it in a year. That's just unbelievable. That's kind of like, to me, that'd be like rushing things. I'd much rather them take their time with the film, because that's when, again, when you rush stuff, that's when you ruin a film. Kind of like, with Jason Blum and Halloween Ends, how that turned out. They basically just ruined the film because they were rushing. They were, rushing because they were, they're trying to go make their Exorcist and all that. So they rushed through Halloween just so they could go make the Exorcist, which that's not what you're supposed to do, So I hope they really take their time with this film and not rush it. And I hope it's hopefully it's a follow-up from Scream 6 and 5, because with, Radio Silence out, it's kind of a little concerning at times. Like, are they gonna, actually follow the story from Scream 5 and 6, or are they gonna go do their own little thing? I mean, yeah, like I was saying, it's probably we probably will. I think the door is even open even more for Stu's return. As I was like, I think it's even open. I think it's open even more with Radio Silence out. I think Radio Silence. I don't really think they were really thinking about bringing Stu back. Possibly, like who really knows? Maybe they were because they had a lot of clues in Scream 6 and 5. But I think this may be like the best chance for him to return. These new directors, these new writers might, consider it. So, like I said, I guess we'll have to see. The writer's strike is expected to last until mid-2024. Oh, okay, so yeah, we probably won't get anything until around 2025 then, and we probably won't get an announcement until 2024, till that is all done with. So I wouldn't really expect any big films. Yeah, I just really hope this film is done right. I just really hope, because Stu is a character I've been saying that I want to return so bad. Like, he fits so well in the story. You built it up so good. In Scream 5 and 6. Us speculating that he killed Dewey and all that. Us speculating that he attacked Tara in the opening scene of 5 and killed Dewey, and then obviously attacking Gale and all that. Like, I think him attacking Gale, if they said that he attacked Gale, that would be awesome. Like, because it only makes sense. Because again, I don't believe that was Amber. I just don't believe it. That was clearly a man that killed Dewey. There's just no way possible that Amber, a 90-pound girl, is able to manhandle a guy like Dewey. Any guy, any man. I don't care who it is. It could be any man. I'm just not going to buy it. And they established all that, and it would be so disappointing that they decided not to do it, to bring him back, because I really think that he could be the mastermind, of all the Scream films. And no, I don't think he's in prison either, because if he was in prison, basically he wouldn't be able to, do these attacks all these years. If he supposedly was doing, attacking, victims like secretly, like, so. So I wouldn't really expect any unit from him. The only way to really do it right is to start new. Yeah. Scream's almost most of the franchise. Yeah, Halloween. Yeah, that Halloween film that, like I said, ends. That went down a shithole. Like I don't know what happened in that film. They just went fucking crazy. Sorry for my language, but they went absolutely bananas in that film. Like, they didn't care. They just threw Corey in that movie like he was basically part of the story the whole time, when he wasn't even a part of the story whatsoever. They just threw him in the film. Basically served no purpose at all. Like, so yeah, I have a problem with him. I think he's like my least favorite character in the whole franchise. But yeah, that movie was just bad. And Scream, Scream 7. Okay. A lot of people are concerned that they may kill, like, Sydney off, do something stupid like make her the killer or something like that, which I talked about that theory before. If they make Sydney the killer, I'm done. I'm absolutely done. You just can't do that to her character. She's the final girl. She's been the final girl since the first Scream film, and now you're just gonna make her the killer, you know. And I hope that's not the case. But with these new directors and all that, you know, I don't really know what's going in their minds, you know, now. And they do make her the killer. Well, that's just gonna ruin. Not only is it gonna be a slap to the face to Wes Craven's legacy, but it's gonna be the slap. It's gonna be slap to the face to, you know, the Sidney character in general. Like, you know, I just don't want to see that. Honestly, that'd be just that would be disloyal to her character, to me. Like, I just don't want to see that. Honestly, like. No point in worrying about what happened to Sidney Alana. She was already shown. Well, I've been speculating. I've been saying that if my rumors appear to be true, I really do think that Neve Campbell will come back for this trilogy, and they'll actually give her a better send off in this film. You know, unless she thinks that the role is dumb, and she, like you said, if she thinks that the script is stupid and that they're going to be ruining her character, well, then I think you're correct. I don't think that she will come back at that point. I don't think that she will want to come back if they're going to just shit on her character. Because she's already stated that she's not going to come back if they decided to kill her off. I mean, she's already said that many times. So, I mean, I guess you're right. You know, you're right about that, because they do shit on her character and they do, you know, make her the killer. I don't really know if she'd be down for that either, you know? I wouldn't even want her back as you wouldn't even want her back? I just feel like she should come back for at least one more film for the trilogy, because we do want that Stu return, and if Stu does return, we gotta have Sidney. You know, we have to have Sidney. You can't have. It would not make sense to me if you had, you know, Stu go after Sam or something. You know, I just don't think that would make any sense, because Sidney was the one that threw the TV on him. Plus, they went to school together, like, so it's more like personal. You know, if he went after Sam, I don't see really the purpose of him going after Sam, you know? Like, he doesn't really have any ties to Sam. So I just think it makes more sense. Makes more sense to, you know, for him to go after Sidney. That's just my feelings on it. I don't know why everyone keeps saying trilogy Scream. Well, Scream 6, if you didn't know, Scream 6 actually did way better than Scream 5. So there's no way in hell that they're not doing a Scream 7. Like, there's absolutely no way. Like, no way that they're not doing a 7. They have to finish. They have to do a trilogy. If they don't do a trilogy, well, that's bad news, because you basically established everything that you need to establish. And like I said, Scream 5, you had the whole, you know, Stu theory about him possibly attacking Tara, and also him possibly killing Dewey. Like, then in Scream 6, you have more of that. Then you're not going to have a trilogy to, you know, basically give us that, you know, give us the actual backstory of like what happened in those two films. You know, it's just not gonna, you know, you gotta reveal something, right? In my opinion, because somebody was if it wasn't Stu, it was somebody that we don't know. And I feel like they need to reveal that person, in the trilogy, because it makes it makes so much sense. It wouldn't make sense for them to just have Scream 6 to be the last one, to me, anyways. British Silence says they didn't even plan to do a second film. Wow, that's very interesting. I never heard that before. So how anyone could think they were making a trilogy has been well, I'm saying that by radio silence, because Scream 4 is Wes Craven's version. So technically, the trilogy, we're talking about a new trilogy. Like, forget Wes Craven. Like, Wes Craven's Scream 4 is not really a part of like a trilogy or anything. I think they're both separate movies because they're different directors. Scream 4 is obviously Wes Craven, and then 5 is Radio Silence, and 6 is Radio Silence. So I'm talking about like 3 movies made by Radio Silence, because then that would have been a real trilogy in my eyes. That's just me. Like, because if you count Scream 4, that's fine. I don't really count Scream 4 into the Scream 5 and 6 because they're made by totally different people. So I go by like what like Radio Silence has done, Scream 5, 6, that's the way I go. I don't really count Scream 4 into that. Did you call Friday the 13th 4, 5, 6 trilogy? No. I never called them a trilogy. I think Halloween 1, 2, and 3 is a trilogy, but not 4, 5, and 6. Not Friday the 13th, 4, 5, and 6. Those aren't trilogies. We're talking about Radio Silence's versions. Even though Radio Silence is stepping down, we're talking about Radio Silence's version, not Wes Craven's. Because Wes Craven, Scream 4 is not really a part of the trilogy to me. Like, it's not really a trilogy. Because if it was a trilogy, then we would have got 2 more by Wes Craven after Scream 4. If he if he didn't pass, then that would have been another trilogy. But since Wes Craven already made, Scream 4 and then Scream 5, 6 were made by Radio Silence, Radio Silence needs to make another one. Or whoever is going to make it, they need to make another one. Because then that'll make it a trilogy, It's a very uncommon thing throughout franchise. People are just confused in modern times. Technically, Scream 4 and 5 of the trilogy. Not really, but I guess kind of. But we're talking about, like I said, by Radio Silence. They closed out all license for Scream 4 and came full circle from Scream 5. Well, all I'm saying is that I think that, because Wes Craven had planned to make Scream 5 before he passed. He had plans to make Scream 5. And I think, honestly, we probably would have got 2 more Screams under Wes Craven had we, but it's just unfortunate that we didn't. But I think at that point, you could have called that a trilogy, at that point. But because the way I look at it this way. I look at it as a new beginning. Because obviously it's new directors. I look at Scream 5 like Scream 1996. I look at Scream 6 like Scream 2. You look at Scream 7 like Scream 3 like all over again. You know, since Wes Craven, that's just the way I look at it personally. Like I look at it like they basically started over again, and obviously we got new directors and they just basically started over again. You know. How's it going, Tatum? Thank you for popping in. How you doing tonight? It is a trilogy because it's made by Wes Craven. Wes Craven directed all three. Basically all three films. And he directed the fourth one as well. So, yeah, those are all three of those films. That's a trilogy because he made all three. It doesn't matter about different writers or anything like that. It matters about like the director. If the director, Wes Craven, has made all three of them, that's a trilogy because he was involved. Like, why stop it? Why stop at it, director? Why doesn't it matter who created it? Why doesn't it matter who created it? Well, but just because I feel like, honestly, I really feel like Scream 4 was the last great film, right? And I looked at it like Radio Silence coming in to make it for the first time. I felt like that was them like starting a whole new like timeline. Their own timeline as opposed to, beginning like starting with Wes Craven's timeline and beginning with his. They decided to do their own. That's the way I look at it. Like, exactly. So not everything needs to be a trilogy. So who's gonna make the film? Yeah, I think that we do. I think that we will get a Scream 7, honestly. And as much people don't want to call it a trilogy, it basically is a trilogy because we're in the new new directors, new writers and all that. We'll just talk about the director though. It's not Wes Craven no more, and these directors basically started their own. They started their own timeline. So this is basically their third film. But obviously, we know that they're stepping down and a new company's coming in. Won't be well, it basically is still though, because if it's a follow-up from Scream 6, so if it's a follow-up from Scream 6 and 5, it's basically a trilogy. It's just another trilogy. Like, either way, it really is though. I mean, if you really think about it, it really is. I mean, if Radio Silence would have, made the film anyways, it still would have been it would have still been a trilogy. Like, because they're basically doing a follow-up from Scream 6 and 5, I believe. So if they're doing that, well, basically that's a trilogy. And make Scream 7 unlimited. Yeah, a lot of people are worried about that. I kind of am too a little bit because I don't really know if we're going to get another film. A lot of people don't feel like we should. just because, and if that's really it, that's unfortunate, um, because that's not the way you want to end it, honestly. What's his birthday? Is this month? Oh yeah, it is. Wes Craven's birthday. Um, not even trying to be a black man. Well, I really think it is in a lot of ways because of Radio Silence. What's to say if Radio Silence didn't step down? And what's to say they decided to keep making the film? It would basically be a trilogy. It would be their trilogy, though. Like, it'd be their version. They'd be their own trilogy. You know what I mean? But since now, well, I guess you're kind of right in terms of because now we're getting new directors and all that. Maybe it's not really considered a trilogy, but that's what they're going to call it. I mean, because they're basically going to leave off from Scream 6 and 5. I mean, that's just the way it is in Hollywood. That's what they're going to do. You know? You're so welcome. Man. So welcome. Oh, really? What do you hope you're doing all right? Scream is not it was created by it is created by Kevin Williamson. But Wes Craven came up with the concept, I believe. And so Wes Craven was the main person that came up with like the mask and just the whodunit. Maybe Kevin Williamson made that, but I think Wes Craven came up with most of it. Like, could be wrong, but I thought Wes Craven. I always thought Wes Craven had made it like. I love your background. Thank you. Yeah, I just thought I would obviously have a pretty good background tonight, especially for the Scream Talk. It's all one timeline. It's all one timeline. I don't think it is. I think it's a whole different timeline. Because, well, I guess it may be, but it's just all different style. That's the only thing. Like, Scream 1 and 6 is all one timeline. It's all sharing the same universe. How can it be a trilogy? You close the story in 6. They didn't really close the story in 6. Scream 6 made a lot more than Scream 5. So regardless of Radio Silence and this new directors, whoever's coming in, regardless of them stepping down from this movie, we already know that there is going to be a Scream 7. We already know that. I mean, if you don't want to call it a trilogy, fine. But I basically call it a trilogy because it basically is. Because they're basically still going to mirror Scream 3 and all that. They're still going to mirror, have the same similar moments. I mean, I say so too, exactly. Because not only because it's basically okay, Scream 5, right? basically Radio Silence's first film. Scream 6 is their second. And if they would have stepped into this film, then it would have been a trilogy, and it still is a trilogy in my mind, even though they're stepping down, because if they're doing a follow-up from 6 and 5, well, that's basically your trilogy. I mean, that's basically a trilogy in a lot of ways. So I still call it a trilogy, in my personal opinion. It can't come first. Full circle and Scream 7. They already tied up Richie's storyline. Yeah, but there's still got to be more story to it. I mean, there's still got to be something. There's got to be something to it, like the Scream 5. Like, who killed Dewey? Because it clearly wasn't Reggie. It clearly wasn't Amber. I mean, you got to come to that conclusion, right? So now any character that comes after them is going to be I don't know. I don't know why they wait this long. It's worth storytelling before you do it. Well, they're gonna do it. I mean, that's just the way it is. But in Hollywood, I mean, they're gonna, because what they're gonna try to do is, that's just the way Hollywood is. No matter if it's poor storytelling, they're still gonna add on to it and do another film. It would be hard, like I said, it's just hard for me to believe that that's it. There's just no way there's no way that could be it. Like, because if that is it, well, I guess that Stu return is not going to happen after all, you know? Looks like how you want Sydney back when they gave her happy. Yeah, but Scream 5 didn't really give her a good happy ending, is what I'm saying. Like, Scream 5 did not give her a good happy ending. Her sitting in the back of an ambulance it's not really a good ending, in my opinion. It should have been a lot better than that if Scream 5 was going to be her last. You know, because we don't even know 100% if she is going to return if they do make another film. You know, and we don't know we don't even know if she's going to return, for all we know. So I think that was just a poor, way to say goodbye to her character. Should have did a lot better than that, because her sitting in the ambulance, in the back of the ambulance truck, is just not. I mean, that's not a good send off, in my opinion. Like, that was just absolute, just pure laziness. Like, so they need to bring her back to give her a better ending. Would be tricky because No, we're talking about 3 movies made by Radio Silence. Because Radio Silence, since they're stepping down, what's to say that Radio Silence is basically what's to say that Radio Silence is basically coming back for the 7th film? It did decide to make a 7th one. Okay, well, that'd be basically their own trilogy, their own. You could say 4, 5, and 6 is a trilogy, but that's not really the case, because it's not really Radio Silence. Radio Silence didn't make Scream 4. Wes Craven did. And Scream 5 and 6, they're both Radio Silence films. And if they were to come back for Scream 7, to me, even if even if we are getting a new, even if they are stepping down, we know that they're stepping down and all that, but they're not returning. But if that's the case, it's still a trilogy in my eyes, because it's basically that's the way. I mean, that's the way they're going with it. I mean, Scream 1, 2, and 3. That's a trilogy right there. You know, you say that Scream 3 is not a trilogy, but it is, because they're all three made by Wes Craven. And then the fourth Scream movie is made by Wes Craven, but then new directors come in, Radio Silence, make Scream 5 and then 6. 2 films, right? So regardless if they had regardless if they didn't step down or not, it would still be a trilogy in my eyes, because it'd be basically it'd be their own trilogy. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. These people control the story. They made a meta movie talk to say it was another trilogy, but they looked with meta in a way to tell you it wasn't. I never heard that before. Kevin Williams made Scream and sold the rights to the wet scenes. They were going to get Robert Rodriguez to direct until Wes Craven showed. Well, still, I mean, even if the other people before Wes Craven, even if that was the case, Wes Craven still ended up making them, ended up directing them, right? How can it be a different timeline when they introduced everyone from the past? The exact same stories. Now you're talking about why is it different timeline? Well, I'm just saying it's I don't think it's it may not be a different timeline, but it's a different style. Is what I meant. It's not the same style as Wes Craven's films. What does making money have to do with this movie? What does making money? What does making money have to do with the money or with the story? When did I say that? I didn't say anything like that. Regardless of what we think, regardless of what you think, I respect your opinion, but like I said, I just can't. I think it still is. I mean, that's just my thinking on that. Screen 5 started with Reggie, and Screen 6 ended with Reggie. For certain. Yeah, but who was the one that killed Dewey? That's the thing. That's the thing that we have to get a conclusion for. Who killed Dewey? Who attacked Tara? Because it clearly wasn't Richie. It clearly wasn't. You could say it probably was Detective Bailey and all that, but it wasn't. It couldn't have been. It had to have been somebody else, like I said, like Stu or something like that. It had to be one of those. It had to be one of those. It had to be either Stu. It had to have either been Stu or somebody that we don't know. So you have to explain that. Who was that person? Because they didn't clearly reveal that person in Scream 6, right? They didn't say, "Oh well, I killed Dewey." No, they didn't reveal that. So you have to reveal all that, because that clearly wasn't Amber. Now you have to start a new story. Otherwise, you force a new story that someone influenced Richie and then spin it. Well, what I'm saying is that basically you have to go into deeper, like you have to go into it deeper, like you know what I mean. Like you have to give us like who is the person that killed Dewey, who is the person that attacked Gale. Like you have to get down to the bottom of all that, like because Scream 6 didn't really reveal any of that. They didn't tell us. It wasn't like they told us that they killed Dewey or anything. Like because it definitely wasn't Amber. We all know that. So you have to have another film like a follow up to Scream 6 to basically reveal all that to give us who that killer is. Like because it clearly was somebody else. This is basic storytelling. I don't see how that's basic. I mean, it's basically what you got to do. You got to have a follow up, give us a reasoning. And even if they do it different, I mean, I would, Scream films are Scream films, and they're not, of course, they're not the same like they used to be, but that's just the way it goes. That's the way Hollywood is. They're probably just gonna make a basic film with no creativity. Like this is exactly why people hated Scream 2 because it was so forced to make Roman a killer connected with that. Roman's my favorite killer. Like I really enjoyed him, as you know. Like he's my favorite killer, and I think it's believable. I think it's really believable. Everyone with villains do did. I mean, not really. He was the one that basically started that. He got Billy and Stu to start killing, and he actually told Billy and Stu to kill Marine. So I think it all makes sense personally. So now you're talking about speculative the way you saw and were told what happened. I don't know what you're saying. We saw and heard me and killed Dewey. Yeah. Amber did not kill Dewey. If you believe that if Amber was a 90-pound, okay, if Amber was a 90 pounder, right? How was she able to lift Dewey up the way she did, and how was she able to manhandle him? Like, come on, that is not realistic. That was not Amber that killed Dewey. No, absolutely not. It was not Amber. I don't care what anybody says, it was not Amber. It was definitely a man. Because there's no way in hell that a girl would be able to kill Dewey in that fact, especially a man like that. If she was a girl, how would she be able to manhandle him like that? Like this is not believable to me. So you have to have, if it wasn't Amber, then you have to have a follow up to that. Like there's just no way around. Like you have to reveal all that stuff. Like you have to reveal all that stuff because I don't believe that. This Ghostface was clearly like 6'4", a pretty tall person. Like wasn't even half the size of Amber. Amber's like what, like 5'9", 5'8", probably. Not even half her size. But this Ghostface is literally just towering over Dewey. Like he's like 6'5", probably at the most. 6'4", and it clearly wasn't Richie. Definitely a man. They can make a Scream 7 without it. They get it. No, I don't. I call Halloween 1, 2, and 3 a trilogy, yeah. But I don't call 4, 5, and 6 a trilogy. Not at all. Because they're not really a trilogy. Well, I think it does matter because not only does it matter to me, it matters to everyone else. It matters to her character to me, like the way, people feel like, she should have ended in Scream 3. And I think so too. I think that her last film should have been Scream 3. They should have never even tried to bring her back. Like, but it is what it is. It's Scream. We had to have her at least in one more film, in my opinion, to get her back. Try to get her back. Try to get her to negotiate because I don't know if you're a fan of Scream. It doesn't really seem like you are, because you seem kind of like hateful towards the new movies, and I don't like them either. But it seems like you don't really like Scream because you're basically kind of you're against like a new movie just because the other movies are bad. And I understand that, but at the same time, it's Scream. You got to keep it going. You can't just quit. You can't quit. You can't quit making them. Is what I'm saying. Like, there's just no way around it. Like, they're gonna keep on continuing even after. Even if Scream 7 is gonna be the last Scream movie for a while, they're still gonna come out with another one, and another one, and another one. We all know that, and it's just gonna keep on continuing. But this is just gonna be like the end of this timeline. Like, Scream 7 is basically what I mean. It's gonna be the end of this timeline, and it's gonna start a whole new timeline after that. I'm pretty sure. The story gave her a new ending, bringing her back. This means you're not written in the same. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like I was saying, if they plan on bringing Stu back, like I was saying about the Stu thing, if they ended up bringing him back, you have to have Sydney, right? There's just no way around it. You have to have her back. You have to have her in the film. You can't have her. You can't have him go after Sam. If he does go after Sam, that's not going to be. I'm not going to be fine with that. It's going to be too like a little too weird. I'd much rather him go after Sydney over Sam. In my opinion, just because it just makes more sense. This is a bad way to tell a story. It doesn't matter if it is Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it is a trilogy. 3 stories that are basically connected. Scream 7 is going to be connected to both Scream 6 and 5. So it's still a trilogy. Identify where we didn't definition of meanings. I think you're not understanding that sense. Well, I think you're telling me that I was saying that I don't think that 1, 2, and 3 is a trilogy because I do. I clearly do. I think they're all three trilogy. That's a trilogy right there. Scream 4. Scream 4. I don't even know. I think it's tied into the other films as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'm pretty sure it is. But even if that is the case, as I was saying, Radio Silence made their own film, and this would basically be their own trilogy, even though they're stepping down. So it wouldn't even be a part of Wes Craven's Scream 4 or anything like that. It'd be basically their own thing. Like that's what I mean. Like all like both separate. You can't say Scream 4 and 5 and 6 as a trilogy because it's in your Scream. Well, it's not the same director. Scream 4 had, like I said, only Wes Craven. And then Scream 5 and 6 had Radio Silence. So different directors. And if they would have, I'm just talking about if Scream 7 would have been directed by them, you know, again, that would be their own trilogy. That would be their own. Basically, because that'd be three of their movies, 5, 6, and 7. There you go. That's a trilogy, right? Regardless of Radio Silence stepping down, I still look at it as a trilogy because it's basically made by Radio Silence. Regardless if they step down, regardless if they're not, like I said, they're not going to return or anything. It still feels like a trilogy because they are gonna, mirror Scream 3 a lot. And yeah, I just think it is a trilogy because they're gonna do a follow up to Scream 6 and 5, and they're basically, and what I mean by that, they're doing a follow up from Radio Silence's, storylines from 6 and 5. A trilogy is specifically defined as 3 individual stories that stand alone and are all connected at the same time. That's what I'm saying. Like Scream 7 is going to be connected to Scream 6 and 5. They already told you who killed Dewey and attacked Gale. Yeah. Well, it really wasn't the case. That's not really the case. That's not the case at all. There's no way in hell that Amber was able to kill Dewey. There's no way in hell that could have happened. No way that a 90-pound girl is going to be able to manhandle a guy. I'm sorry, if you believe that, then that's your belief. But I don't believe that. There's just no way in hell. You can say maybe it's a camera work and all that. No, definitely not the case. It had to have been somebody else. And as I was saying, it definitely was not Amber. It was definitely a man in that scene. There's no other way to spin it. It had to have been a man. There's no way. If it's Amber, this is unrealistic. You can't just ignore what was originally I'm just saying. I'm being realistic, That's one thing the horror community does too much is create stuff out of feelings, not what actually happened on screen. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's called bad storytelling because you're going to ignore. You're ignoring of the material. one specific part in the two-hour movie. You know, we mean yeah, that's what they're gonna do, and regardless of what I think, in my opinions, even though I think it's a trilogy, that's what they're gonna call it too. I mean, that's what they're still gonna call it. Even that's just the way Hollywood is, because basically, it's gonna be a follow up to Scream 6 and 5. You know, and regardless of what your beliefs are, this is my beliefs. You know, you don't have to believe it, of course. Everybody has their own beliefs. But me personally, I don't find it to be realistic that a 90-pound girl is going to be able to lift up and manhandle a guy like Dewey. You know, like that. That's just unrealistic to me. Like, there's just no way. Dewey couldn't have died. Couldn't have died to him. Just yeah, but what if they're hiding something, you know? Because there's just no way. And if they're that bad at writing, and if it turns out it was Amber that killed him, well, I guess they're just terrible at writing, because they made it seem like it was a guy that killed him. You know what I mean? But no, I seriously do not believe that Amber had any. I don't even think she was in the hospital. You know, I truly don't. That had to have been a man, because if Radio Silence ends up saying that it was Amber, well, that goes to show that they're bad at making movies, because they're obviously unrealistic, and they made it look like a man. And if it turns out it's Amber still, and then yeah, that's just unrealistic. I'm sorry, there's just no way a girl is gonna be able to kill a guy like that. So you're trying to force a creativity bankrupt story. Exactly, so the motive goes from random act, peer pressure to revenge, mastermind. So you go from the dark to the story, just by creative. So you go from that. Well, it is a creative story, because he was basically the mastermind of Scream 1996. Like, so it does fit. It fits the story perfectly, in my opinion. And as I was saying, if you didn't know, the original story was that Stu was going to return in Scream 3. But obviously the Combine shooting, kind of, affected that. So it didn't happen. That's the reason why it didn't happen, was because the Combine shooting. But regardless of what we got, I don't really care. I find Scream 3 to be a great film. You know? That's a very underrated movie. You're mistaken, bad directing. Amber couldn't have killed Dewey because this is no way. That's just unrealistic. If you believe that because of the way they filmed it, okay, that's just what you believe. But I don't believe that. I personally don't believe that. But there's just no way in hell that a girl is going to be able to lift up a guy and manhandle a guy like that. There's just no way. That's unrealistic. And if it turns out that it is Amber and it's not, it's not Stu, well, I guess that's just bad writing all around, because that I just find that to be unrealistic, that she was the one that killed him. Like, no, there's no way, absolutely no way that Amber killed Dewey. No way at all. And you guys could go by like what it says. Oh, well, Amber said she did. Well, it doesn't mean that she did. It doesn't matter if Radio Silence has said that she did. Maybe they're hiding something. Maybe they have a secret. And they want us to speculate about it. you know? I think directors try to translate Chad into the new dude, but getting him staff work, so he wasn't good. Yeah, and I agree with that. And Blanca, I'm not trying to get like too like I'm not trying to like argue and all. You know, we both have our own opinions. At the end of the day, we're still family. You know, this is a community. We all have different opinions. So I didn't mean to like get too personal or anything. Um, but yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, I think that Chad, like I was saying, Chad, um, I think Chad has, I think Chad should have died. Honestly, there's just no way that he survived for like stabbed like that, like 4x stabs. I mean, he got gutted. Like, I don't understand how he survived that, but like you said, it seems like they're making him the new Dewey, and that's the way it seems. But yeah, if Chad can survive all those stabs, then how could you not say that Stu could survive a TV? I mean, we just got to face facts. It's a group of directors who don't know how to expect realism. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Isn't Halloween 3 a new timeline from 1 and 2? Um, Not really. I think it's beginning. I think it's still a trilogy. Um, Even though Michael's not really in it, they still call it Halloween. So how can it be a trilogy? Well, I guess you have a point there because I thought Halloween 3 was the same timeline, even though Michael wasn't in it. Um, so I guess you do have a point there that yeah, it is a different timeline. So that's not really a trilogy. But Scream 1 and 2, Scream 1, 2, and 3 is because those are the same timelines. I'm a fan of Scream, but you don't seem to be. Well, I am a fan. That's what I'm saying. This is why I want another movie because I'm a fan. You know, it may be stupid to some people, but this is why we want another film so that we can get get something like because like I was saying, if that whole Amber thing, I just don't think that was her that killed Dewey. I'm sorry, it just wasn't. You could say it was the camera work and all that. I just don't find that to be believable. So they have to have some kind of follow-up story to that, like to tell us basically who that was. You know, because they have to do it. Because I just don't think it had to. It was a man, dude. There's just no way. Well, maybe if Sydney doesn't return, I guess, oh well. I mean, I'm just saying that it would fit better if Stu, because if they do that Stu return, which I'm not saying that they are, but if they do it, I mean, I guess I wouldn't really care if Sydney wasn't in the film, but I would much rather have him go after Sydney because it makes more sense and it makes more sense for him and Sydney to like kind of, you know, for Sydney to be a part of that, like, you know. 4, 5, 6, now connected as like the Wes Craven did one. Yeah, he did. He did 1, 2, 3. That's a trilogy. Yes, exactly. That's what I was saying. And earlier you were trying to say that it wasn't. You were trying to say that it wasn't a trilogy, and I kept telling you it was. And yeah, and 5, 6, and 7 is a trilogy because if it's a different director, it basically kind of is. It's kind of a different. It's a different kind of trilogy. It's a different. New characters. We got new characters. Young up and coming characters. We don't have the same old characters that we had in the older films. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? It's like a new generation now. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you know what I mean. I don't know. How's it going, Scott Walker? Scream 7 is going to have a different director. Which face, you're killing me here. I'm killing you here. I'm just trying to tell you. I'm basically just trying to say that since Scream 4 is the last Wes Craven film, and Scream 5 is the first film that Radio Silence had did, and Scream 6 is their second. Well, Scream 7 would be their third. So that would be like Radio Silence's like their own trilogy. I'm not saying it's a trilogy as a whole. I'm saying it's Radio Silence's trilogy, like their own. Like, even though it's a follow-up to Scream 4, even though Scream 5 is probably in the same timeline as Scream 4 and Scream 3 and all that, like, I still consider it to be a trilogy because it's basically Radio Silence. I just call it Radio Silence's version. You know what I mean? Like, have you heard the news about the new Scream video coming out later this year? I hope that is on the cast for the movie. No, I did not hear that. Actually, that's very interesting. I do know that there is a. I do know that there is a. I know that there is Texas Chainsaw Massacre coming out. I didn't know if you heard the news about the new Friday the 13th game that's being developed. But yeah, that's very interesting. I did not hear that. So if they announced Scream would not make any more Scream films and start all over, you would still say it isn't confirmed that Amber will do? Yeah, absolutely not. Or absolutely, yeah. I wouldn't say. I would still confirm. I would still say that it isn't Amber because it's just not believable to me. And the reason why is because how the hell is a girl, a 90-pound girl, is gonna be able to lift up a guy like Dewey? in that fashion, in that way that she did. How the hell is she able to lift up a guy like him? And if you can see, this Ghostface is clearly lifting him off the ground, practically. I mean, absolutely just manhandling him. And that's where I have a problem, because it's not realistic to me if it's Amber that did that. That's why I have a feeling that it was a guy, and it was definitely, to me, it was a guy. You know, there's no way it's a girl. Like, nothing against girls, I was saying. I love, girls, you always gotta love the girls, of course. But I'm just saying, girls ain't as strong as boys. Boys have way more like strength, they're stronger, have more adrenaline. They're able to do that kind of stuff to other men. But girls are not. I don't think a girl is gonna be able to lift up a guy that's 6'2", 6'3", like, and just manhandle him and lift him off the ground and shit like that. That's just unrealistic to me. We got to deal in real. If they don't, and if they do say that Amber did kill him, well, to me that's just unrealistic. We need more realism in Hollywood, more realism in movies in general. Like, there's just no way. I have been watching Scream 5 on YouTube a lot lately. I've been studying Dewey's death, and I still do believe the killer that's killing him is Stu, not Amber. What do you think about that? Yeah, like I was saying, I think it was Stu. I hope it is Stu, because, like I was saying, it's just not realistic that a small girl like Amber is going to be able to lift up, Dewey. Dewey's probably around like 6'2", 6'3", around there. And it would be unrealistic for her to be able to lift him up and manhandle him like that. For her being 90 pounds, that's just unrealistic. That's unrealistic. That's why I feel like it was somebody, like I said, like Stu. Or if it wasn't Stu, it was definitely somebody that was connected to the films before 1996, probably did the killings way before Billy and Stu. Like, that's what I personally think. Personally, that's just my belief. That's what I think. And I'm glad that you're with me on that, Scott. I'm really glad that you're with me on that, because I do believe that it was Stu. I really hope it is Stu, because it's the way he was basically, what I'm saying is, the way that Stu described how to gut somebody was the same way he described it is the same way he killed Dewey. That's just the way I look at it. He was basically explaining it, at the fountain scene, at the fountain or whatever in 1996. He was basically explaining like how to gut someone and all that. Well, it's basically like the same description of how he killed Dewey. And also, I have a feeling that he wanted to get revenge on Dewey, because in 1996 he couldn't kill him, but this time in Scream 5 he finally got the job done, and that's why he said, it's an honor, because it's an honor to finally get it done this time. That's why I feel like it's Stu, that he was happy that he finally killed Dewey. Like, that's personally me. Yeah, I just don't think it was Amber. Like, I just don't. Like, I just don't. Also, Ghostface, I don't want you to ever feel like I'm attacking you or coming from a place. I just talk about it. Oh no, that's fine. Like I said, everybody's got their own opinions, and I have my own takes, my own opinions about stuff, and yeah. like I said, everybody's got their own opinion, their own views, and all that. And like I said, it's totally fine. I mean, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Like, I understand because Scream 5 and 6 were not good films by no means. Even though I find Scream 6 to be better than Scream 5, they're still not. Scream 6 is still not a perfect film. So I understand what you're saying. Like, okay, once that weed gets in, man, it's gonna come out on your keyboard. Oh damn, you smoke weed? Damn, go hard, man. If Radio Silence doesn't return, what does that mean for the return of Nev Campbell and Matthew Lillard possibly? If Radio Silence doesn't return, what does that mean? Well, I was saying, I think that it opens the door even more. Because what if Radio Silence wasn't even planning on doing all that? What if they were trying to, maybe they were planning on doing something else as opposed to bringing back Matthew Lillard. But it looks like one of these new directors, I guess, supposedly it was like a tease or whatever. I guess I was watching Craven Something Scary's video, and he was basically like teasing. I guess he started like following Matthew Lillard and all that, and I guess he's supposedly like one of the new directors of the film, supposedly, I guess. I don't remember, but it's kind of ironic and kind of funny to me that he started following Matthew Lillard. So I don't know, maybe the door, like I said, is even more open for him to return. Like, it doesn't mean that he's going to return, but definitely still a possibility that he could. I mean, you never say never. Let's not confuse writing and directing. You don't believe in regular because yeah, but the thing is, no, it's not that at all. It's the way it was done. It's an honor. It's an honor, That's the way. That's what he said, and he said, "Yes, today." Like, what does that mean? Yes, today. That means, yes, today I finally get to kill you. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. So, I think that it could be still a possibility. You can easily write a 90-pound girl to kill someone and just want to do it. I don't find that to be realistic, though, like I was saying, because realistically, boys are stronger than girls. Boys are going to be able to do that kind of stuff. Girls, in my eyes, a girl like Amber is not going to be able to do that to a guy. And if that is truly the case, well, I guess Radio Silence is just terrible at writing, in general, because in my eyes, there's just no way that's believable. Like, you have to make it more believable. You have to say that it was either Stu or somebody, before Billy and Stu, before the events of 1996. Like, because I don't see that being the case at all. Like, I just think we need more realism in movies. I do think if Stu does return, I think he will tell Gail and Sydney he was one of that killed Blue. And he told her to take all the credit, but he told her he wanted to be the one to do it, not her. Yup, I think so too. If he returns, maybe that's the number one secret that he's going to reveal. He's going to reveal that he was the one that killed, Dewey, and that he basically told Amber to take all the credit for doing it, so that people would believe that she did it, but it was actually him. It's actually not it's not shocking to me that like it didn't look like a girl. You know what I mean? It looked like a guy. So we already know that it wasn't a girl. I mean, we already know that. I mean, we're smart enough to know all that it wasn't a girl. Clearly was a guy. Yeah, they showed Chad getting stabbed in front of arterial. People died within 2 minutes to something like that. I know that doesn't make any sense. And also, I think he got stabbed way worse than he did in Scream 5. But people say that what's her name? Jennifer Jolie in Scream 3 died from a gunshot. People say that you know, Stu, there's no way that Stu can survive a TV. You know? But if Chad is able to survive 4X stabs, like you were just saying. I mean, I think he even got it worse than he did in Scream 5. And he survived that, but people still don't believe that Stu could survive a TV. I mean, come on. Let's just be realistic. You know? If Roman was created, the story wouldn't have made a way to go, so did it, which is why they spent almost 20 minutes and my longer between all of these super. I don't know if he was connected to Scream 2. I think he was just connected to Scream 1996. Yeah, because he was the one that told Billy and Stu basically to kill Maureen, and that's basically why they basically, you know, Sidney framed Cotton Weary for it, but it turned out to actually be Billy and Stu that did it, because Roman was the one, like, the mastermind of that all. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think he was the mastermind of Scream 2 or anything. He might have been. I could have missed something, but all I know is that he was the mastermind of Billy and Stu. You know, he told Billy and Stu to, you know, kill Maureen, whatever. So then that led, you know, Sidney to obviously say that Cotton did it or whatever, but it really wasn't him, and he got framed for that. I like Scream 3, but because of how meta it is. Yeah, I think Scream 3 is the most underrated Scream film. It's actually, I think Roman's my favorite killer. I think he's ahead of Billy, honestly. That's just my opinion. I think he's just the more creative killer. Like, so Amber killing Dewey is just bad directing because they do not check my email. I don't believe girls. Okay, some girls could be strong, but not like that. I mean, Amber was probably like 5'8", 5'7", like I was saying, and if she's able to lift up a 6'1", 6'2" guy like Dewey and manhandle him, that's just no. That's not believable. Definitely had to have been a guy. I do believe Scream 7 is going to be two-part. Part 1, part 2. Yep, I could totally see that too. I was actually talking about that. I actually made a video about that. I actually seen that one half of the film will actually take place in Woodsboro, or one half of the film will be in Hollywood, and then the second half possibly could be in Woodsboro. And maybe that's how we get that Stu return. Maybe Stu we'll go back to Woodsboro, and that's where when we'll see like Stu possibly, and because it wouldn't be believable if he got revealed in Hollywood. I think we need to see him get revealed in his own house. I think we need to see his own, like his original house from 1996. That would be a lot better. But yeah, I was talking about that in my video, talking about them doing that, like one half in Hollywood, the other half in Woodsboro, like in one film, like, and I could totally see that happening, honestly. Most franchises seem to like ending in two or three part. Yes, for sure. Yeah, we're just passionate. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their own opinion. I personally just think that we need another film. At least one more. At least one more to, kind of move on from this timeline and move on to another. Because regardless of because I think Hollywood right now, I'd much rather watch fan films nowadays over this kind of shit, over this kind of garbage nowadays. Because at least these young, up and coming, directors are actually creative, with their movies. But nowadays in Hollywood, they're not creative at all. It's just basically the same old shit. That's why I always tell all these young and up and coming directors and all that. I always tell them that just keep on going. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Show like all these, show Hollywood how it's really done. Show them how it's done. Do your own thing. Do your own creative stuff. And I'm glad that we have that. We have like young and up and coming filmmakers out there that actually do that. They actually make stuff actually creative. I think Scream 5 and 6 suffered from both bad writing and directing. The directing was less noticeable because it really happened in a handful of scenes. But when it did happen in it, yeah. Like I was saying, I really enjoy Scream 6 a lot more than 5. I feel like Scream 6 would definitely step up to 5. Like, I really do think Scream 6 is better than 5. Just in terms of like creative, just they brought back the chase scenes. The poster I feel like is a lot better. Just the setting is a lot better. But that's personally just me. I personally enjoyed it more than 5. But of course, that's just me, and a lot of people are going to have their own opinions on that, of course. But yeah, I just definitely think Scream 5 is not a bad film, but it's definitely the rewatchability for me is low. Scream 6, I kind of got that watchability. I actually had that in DVD. I'm actually thinking about watching it possibly, maybe tonight or something. I might just do like a Scream marathon tonight and just watch all the Scream films again, but like all in one, like all 6 of them tonight. But Scream 6, not a bad, like it's not a perfect film by no means, but it's definitely, I think it's better than 5. So I definitely think it's a step up from 5. Scream 5, I mean, like I was saying, it's not a bad film. It's just a lack of like the character, bad character development. Not enough chase scenes. Um, no creativeness. Yeah, I mean, Scream Five is not really. I mean, it's not a bad film, but it's also not. It's not really that. I mean, of course, I'll rewatch it if I'm doing a Scream marathon. But the rewatchability, you know, I mean, I'll watch it, of course, but it's just not the same as watching like four, three, two, one. You don't get that same feeling, when you watch, the other four. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what your feelings are on that, but I feel like Scream 6 is a lot better. I enjoyed it a little better than 5. I personally think they really did mean to film it. Best Amber, yeah, I mean, a lot of people have their own takes on that. I just feel like, like I was saying, I just feel like it's unrealistic. I don't really see the point in any of that. Like saying that a girl, basically a 90-pound girl, being able to lift up a guy. I mean, I just can't get down with that, man. I just can't. I just don't believe that at all. Do you think we'll get to go to the actual Stu house in Scream 7? Or do you think they'll use the replica of Stu's house again? I hope we'll go back to the actual house after all these years. For that film hack. Yep. That's what I was just saying. I was saying, if we're going to have Stu's house involved in this movie, we're going to have his actual house, his original house from 1996, and not the replica. They're going to have to try to get into because I think the reason why they didn't use the real house, the original house in Scream 5 was because of, I think it was COVID possibly. But I don't think that's what it was. I think it could have been something else. Maybe, the people were just busy around there. Maybe they just didn't want anybody to they didn't want them to film there. But regardless of that, I think they need to try their best to try their best to film there, at that original house, and try to, if the owners or whatever don't want it, I guess it's understandable, but I kind of think that they need to try to do that, like try to film at the, original house, because they really don't have any other choice other than to make a replica, which I guess I really wouldn't mind that, but I think it would mean a lot more to have the original house, from 1996, it would just mean a lot more, especially if you do the Stu return. Like I said, these guys identify as male. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, do you think Stu will reveal why he killed Dewey all these years, and why did he wait this time, and why do you think she meant Well, I think he went after Gail because obviously Gail is connected to Dewey, so he's trying to get at Gail and be personal, about Dewey. As you can see in Scream 6, when Gail's on the phone with the killer, you could really tell that this Ghostface is being very, very personal, like with her, like basically talking about Dewey and all that, like being very personal with her. And yeah, I think that could have been Stu basically trying to pull her strings and all that, and because she knows that Dewey was basically her best friend. They were together for a while, and yeah, so But I think that he was trying to get he was trying to make it personal. That's what I think, and I think that was too, because he's basically explaining he was talking bad about Dewey because he was the one that killed Dewey. I think. And yeah, I think he was trying to get at Gail to let her know, like, hey, I was the one that killed Dewey. Like, that's just my opinion. I understand as a fan, yeah, you want to Sydney and Gale, not people who started it, who finished off, but then you're selling the people who are neutral, give us supposed to be about. Yeah, but at the same time, they could still be in the movie. I mean, they could all be in the movie still, like Chad, Mindy, and obviously Kirby too. I mean, they could all be in the movie still. Sydney, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, you're saying that if there's no purpose to bring Sydney back, if they're going to rehash the same thing. I mean, I kind of understand what you're trying to say. But what I'm saying is that the only way the Stu return is going to work is if he has Sydney, because it wouldn't really be that meaningful for him to go after Gail. I mean, what? Why would he go after? Yeah, Gail or Sam. Like, why would he go after Sam? Like, why would Sam be his main target? You would think that he would want to go after the main, the girl that threw the TV on him, which is, Sydney, right? So I don't see why he would want to go after Sam necessarily. He doesn't have any ties to Sam or anything. So the only ties that he has is that, that she's the daughter of Billy. That's basically it. Other than that, though, I mean, doesn't really have a tie. With Stu, or he doesn't have a tie with Sam. So I just don't find that to be believable. Like, I think, like I was saying, it makes more sense to have Sydney involved for that. When Stu returns, if Stu does return, you had to have Sydney involved. Like, you can't just leave her out of the story because it's not believable. That's just my personal opinion, but I understand what you're trying to say. Like, you're saying that if Sydney comes back and they just rehash the same thing, I mean, yeah, I don't really want to see that at that point, because we see the same stuff over and over again as it is. I understand that, but as I was saying, it's only more believable, If they do plan on bringing Steve back, you have to have Sydney, involved. It'll just be another thing we have to agree to disagree on. Yeah, like I said, I really want Stu back. I think 1-3 is a trilogy. Yes. I was trying to argue against your logic. Let it dig it. I'm not expressing mine. Oh, it's okay. I'll let it go. We're just confusing each other at this point. Yeah, that's fine, man. We could disagree. We could agree to disagree on stuff. Like I was saying, Do you think all the cast from Scream movies would be interested in doing the voiceover acted for the Scream video game? You don't think it would be? I don't really know. Are they making the Scream video game? Because you had said that there's news out there that they are. But I personally haven't seen anything. So, but yeah, I would be down. I've been saying I've been saying it for so long that a Scream video game would be so damn awesome in so many ways. Like there's so many things that you can do. Um, the Scream films are so unique, like the whole, the who done it, factor. That's what makes it fun, right? Well, you could add all that into like a game, and like being able to like take off a costume, being able to take off the costume and become a regular survivor, being able to put it back on, take it off, all that kind of shit, man. That would be so fun, like because it's a who done it movie, and yeah, that would be, yeah, I'm all for that. And yeah, do you think that um Sydney and Gail would be very, very, I think even Dewey um, would be a really good voiceover, because he actually does voiceovers as it is. He did the voiceover. I think he did a voiceover on this game called The Query, I believe. It's a horror video game. David Arquette did a voiceover for that game. So I mean, he's got experience to do that kind of stuff. So I mean, yeah, that would be, wow. Yeah, Scream video game. I'm all for that. That's the one game that they have to, figure out, hopefully in the future, you know. Not they would ever try to make a Scream video game. Hey, man, I mean, you really never know, and they may think about it maybe in the future, you know, because they're having a lot of horror games come out already. I mean, they have, obviously Dead by Daylight has all the horror characters, not all of them, but most of them, like Michael Myers, Leatherface, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, and they're coming out with a Leatherface game, and they're coming out with a new Friday the 13th game as well, which was very shocking to me. But yeah, they're actually. So it seems like they're slowly making. This is what I feel like they're slowly making. Like they had these horror icons in that game, so eventually they would have like their own game probably in the future. Like, because Leatherface, like I was saying, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game is coming out on August the 18th. And who really knows what Gun Media is thinking about after that? They could think about making a Halloween video game, for all we know. So, for all we know, they could be making a Halloween game, and I've been saying for a while that I think that's the game that they're going to be going after. That's the franchise and the game that they're going to try to do, possibly, because that's really the only other game that I can really think of that's really big, that they haven't, like, one of the biggest franchises like out here, one of the biggest horror franchises, like behind Friday the 13th. I mean, it's just like it wouldn't be a surprise to me if they did that. Gun Media. I mean, they've been kind of like teasing at it for a while now. Like maybe that could be their next project. Who really knows? But I think that I honestly think that could be next. And I've been saying that for a while. Like, of course, it's just a rumor, but I think that it's very possible that Gun Media is gonna try to either make a Halloween game or a Nightmare game, which a lot of people has been making there's speculation about them possibly making a Nightmare on Elm Street game, but I truly do think that they're going to be making a Halloween game next. Like, It's just hard for me to believe. It'd be hard for me to believe that they would just turn that down. And that's one of the biggest, like I said, franchises. Like, so you think, I truly think that's probably going to be next. The only screen game they've ever made. They actually had a screen game for Screen 4. It was actually an Android mobile game. You're basically able to play. It was just a mobile game, though. That was it. But it was for the release of Screen 4. I don't know if you remember that, but that was before. I think that was back in like the iPhone, like the old iPhone days. Like, you're basically able to play like the mobile version of the screen game. It was before, I think it was for the release of Screen 4. But that was the only game that they had. That mobile game. I really need your honest opinion. Is it okay to study Dewey Death and watch Screen 5 over and over? He's nothing yet proved it was still. Yeah. Yeah, it's totally fine with that. I'm fine with that. Like I was saying, I really do believe that it was. Because I know Blanca has his own opinion. Of course, certain camera work could make somebody look bigger, but at the same time, I don't believe that. Because realistically, if that's just unrealistic, as I was saying, there's just no way. They had to have been a guy. Seeing it's an honor means you have respect for someone. You have respect for someone? I don't really know though, because it sounds to me that's why he was saying that. That's why Stu was actually saying that, because he possibly, was saying, hey, it's an honor that I finally get the job done, But that's just my theory. Would be weird for Stu to have respect for Dewey. Well, not really though. I just truly think that it was definitely a man. And I think that just the way he was killing, the way this person was killing Dewey was the same way that Stu was, basically describing it. He was basically describing it, like how he was just, it was the same description of how he was when he was talking about it at the fountain in 1996. Like, the way Dewey was killed, that was like the same description. If it was Stu that did kill Dewey, what does it mean? Yes, today it's an honor. What does it actually mean if that was Stu that did it? Well, that actually means, like I was just saying, I was saying that yes, today means that yes, today I finally get you today. I finally get to kill you today. And it's an honor, meaning it's an honor to finally, get it done. You know what I mean? It's an honor to finally get the job done. So that's basically what I think that means. And if you don't know, he was trying to kill Dewey in 1996, and he couldn't do it. He didn't get it done because Dewey obviously survived. So this time it's an honor to finally get the job done, and yes, today I finally get to kill you. You know what I mean? So that's basically what that means. That's my theory anyways. A lot of people have their own theories, but I mean, way off topic, but the Deadpool 3 movie looks like it'll be close to yeah, I've never been a fan of the Avengers, honestly, but I mean, I like superhero movies, but at the same time, I don't really get into them like I do slashers. Like, I do like them though, but I'm not like a diehard fan. What's up, everyone? I smashed that like button before it came in. This is awesome stream. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Happy Tuesday, Russell. How you doing, man? Appreciate you popping in. Like I said, we're just talking about Scream. Scream stream tonight. Huey said not today and goes just said yes today. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He said yes today. It's time. It's time that I finally get. I finally get to kill you. You know. Yeah, but you gotta remember that it's a story where the above average characters are featured in the below average. Yeah, they always do that to the OGs. That this is a feeling that I've been having. Like, I'm pretty sure you have the same feeling, but I have the same feeling that I have a feeling that Hollywood or this Radio Silence was just trying to kill off Dewey on purpose, like trying to kill his character off, on purpose, just to move on to their new characters and all that, the ones that they made, and that's just not right. There was better ways to go about it, in my opinion. Although I heard a lot of stories about the actor, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I still respect the Dewey character a lot. I still respect the Dewey character. He's iconic, the most iconic character in the franchise, and yeah, I just don't like the way they did him, and it was just totally just. It was absolutely just a slap to the face, I believe, to his character. And the Wes Craven as a whole, like they shouldn't have did, like the way they. My problem was the way he was already shooting at the killer, right? Then he starts walking, with Sam and Richie, and Tara, gets him in the elevator. And then he decides, you have to shoot him in the head. Like, that's my only problem. And then he turns around. And goes back, and he automatically remembers. He remembers right when he gets to the elevator that he had to shoot him in the head. He didn't shoot him in the head when he had the chance. Like, I mean, come on now. Like, he would have shot him in the head right away, like immediately, like when he had the chance. And also, my problem was, him getting distracted by a phone. I mean, come on, he got distracted by a phone, and that was it. I mean, come on now. So I just felt like he was, done dirty, because in Scream 3, if you remember, he shot Roman in the head. He shot Roman in the head, and yeah. So he's not gonna just forget that, in my opinion. Like, he's just not gonna forget, that you have to shoot him in the head. Like, he's not gonna just remember when he walks to the elevator, like when he gets into the elevator, like, come on, he would have did it like right then and there. When he had the chance. So I don't buy that. And I also don't buy, Sydney basically not, Um, I also don't buy Sydney not showing any emotion. When he got killed, that was just absolutely just wrong, man. Wrong, in my opinion. You know, if Wes Craven, if this was Wes Craven's film, if Scream Five was Wes Craven's film, Nev Campbell would have showed emotion. She would have cried and all that stuff. So I don't buy that either. That she wasn't emotional about it. Like, I don't buy that shit. She would have been very emotional in Wes Craven's version. But yeah, I just didn't like the execution. I felt like I personally felt like he was done dirty. Like, I don't know what your feelings are, but I feel like Dewey was done dirty as a character. Like, because there's no way that he's just gonna automatically remember, like, right? Because he's already shooting the killer. He had the chance to shoot him in the head right then and there when he had the instead of waiting to walk towards the elevator and then turn around and say that you got to shoot him in the head. Like, no, like, I don't buy that. So I just felt like his character was done dirty. I felt like they did David Arquette dirty. Just the way they approached him about the whole thing. They should have went about it a little better, in my opinion. But I guess it is what it is. That's what they do. So they just kill the old to move on. I guess you have to kill the old, I guess, to move on. You don't necessarily have to do that, though. I mean, you don't necessarily have to kill the old to. I mean, when I went into the movie, I kind of knew that he was gonna die because of the that commercial that we saw at Stu's house with him in the house or whatever. He had like his FBI badge and all that. Like, well, I kind of knew in that commercial that was basically him. That was basically like his goodbye tour, So I kind of knew that he was gonna die. I predicted that. I just didn't think it was gonna be that dumb, the way it was. But yeah, that was absolutely just wrong. Totally just done dirty, in my opinion. Every story basically defines how the characters, average characters, live their lives and don't get involved. Victims are below average, not are above average. Should recognize. That's what I'm saying. Like, all the average always get killed, but the characters that the characters that are below average get killed off, but the characters that are average or above average survive. Like, I don't understand that. So all the great characters die, then all the bad characters survive. Like, I don't understand that at all. I never understood that. And like I was saying, Wes Craven, he would have never did that. He would have never did that to Dewey. He would have never did that to the character. In my opinion, he wouldn't. He didn't. I don't think he even had any plan. I don't think he had plans to kill Dewey at all. Like, he never had any plan to do that. Like, I don't even think he had plans to, kill Gale off. All I know is that Gale wanted to die. Courtney Cox, she wanted to die in Scream 4. I mean, that's all I basically know. That's basically, yeah, like, I felt like they should have killed Gale off as opposed to Dewey, but hey, I guess it is what it is, They have to move on. If that's their way of moving on, I guess. So I guess it is what it is. So Scream is saying the killers tend to be closer to above average, and that's when until they run into story. Oh, I know. That's the way it really. That's the way it always is, and I don't know if you know this too, but it seems like it's always about like race sometimes too. Like every time there's like a black person in the movie, they always tend to like kill them in some kind of dumb way, like. But usually depict the killers losing in the dumbest way possible. Like 99% in that movie, the killer is cold and calculated, and when he unmasks them to clumsy. I know. I know. Yeah, that's just the way it is. Well, Roman is connected to the two by default because he inspired all the events. Yeah, I guess he kind of is. Yeah, I mean, I guess you do got a point. I think that he was more connected to 1996 though because he was the one that basically told Billy and Studi kill Marine. So. If they didn't introduce Roman, we think Scream 2 was inspired by Billy and Stu, which it was, but the true created to everything was Roman. Oh yeah. Basically, yeah. If we didn't never get Scream 3, or to say if we got Scream 3, but it was like somebody else, like Stu or something, and we probably would have said that that Roman or that Stu was probably. Oh, I get what you're saying. So you're saying that if we only got like 2 films and we didn't have Roman, we'd basically be saying that Scream 2 was inspired by Bill and Stu or whatever. Like, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I just don't I just think that it's like Roman told Billy and Stu to basically do it. So yeah, I guess you do have a point. So he's basically inspired in both films, 1996 and Scream 2. So here's a question in Scream 6: do you think Samara Williams was talking to Stu on the phone before she went to? You know what? I actually think that could have been Stu. I think Stu is a big part of this film. I think Stu is a big part of this film. I think that he was the one that, was talking to Gail. I don't know about Samara, maybe. I mean, maybe he was talking to her too, but I know 100% that he was talking to Gail on the phone. Yeah, I think that's very, very possible, honestly. Because like I said, there's a lot of moments, a lot of weird moments in both Scream 5 and 6, where you're like, well, this killer is that, the killer is, Quinn and, whatchamacallit, well, how the hell, who the hell is talking to this person or whatever? There's just some, weird moments, you know what I mean? Kind of like Scream 5 when Richie wasn't around, like I was saying, and Amber was at her house, and somehow Ghostface was attacking Tara. The question is, who was that? Clearly wasn't Richie. Clearly wasn't, Amber, right? So. Why do you think Stu let Amber take all the credit for killing Dewey? Well, what he did, the reason why he gave Amber all the credit, he let Amber take all the credit, is because he didn't want to give away the secret. Basically, that he was alive. Because Sydney and Gail probably don't even know. at this point, and they probably don't. They figured that he died and all that, but he probably really didn't, you know. And they probably think he's dead, but like I was saying, he probably isn't. So, and he probably doesn't want them to know, you know, that he's alive, because obviously he wants it to be, he wants to have a moment with just him and Sydney, you know. He were, you know, he's gonna reveal himself. He wants to reveal himself and, you know, show Sydney that he's alive, so that she's in shock. And Gail too. He didn't want to give away. He doesn't want to give away the secret or anything. So I think that's basically why he let Amber, you know, take all the credit. And I honestly think that, you know, Dewey, like, I don't know what you guys think, but I definitely think that Dewey, you know, knew that Stu was alive, and he just didn't want to tell Gail or Sydney. You know, the reason why I think so is because he was speaking on Stu in the present tense, not the past tense, in Scream 5. You know, he was speaking on him like he knew something, you know, like he knew he was still alive or something. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but he basically said Billy is, or Stu is Billy's accomplice, instead of saying Stu was, he said Stu is. Like, so he's talking about him in the present, you know, in the present tense instead of the past tense. So that's why it gets me thinking that, like, he knew that Stu was alive, like, the whole entire time in all the Scream movies. Like, after the events of '96, you know. But I don't think he wanted to tell. I don't think he wanted to tell Sydney or Gail or anything. You know, he just wanted to keep it a secret. Probably too nervous to tell him, you know. But that's just my theory. I think that Dewey probably knew. I think that Samara was talking to anyone meaningful, but if it was somebody, it would have been Tony. Yeah, you're talking about Jason. I think Jason could have been the one that was talking to Samara, but at this point, you really never know, because Jason was the one that obviously killed her. So, I mean, who really knows at this point? But I do think that he was talking to Gail, because if you don't remember, he was basically talking crap about Dewey. You know, this Ghostface was talking shit about Dewey, like he was being like very, like, really personal. So I think that the possibility that Stu was basically telling Gail, like, hey, you know, I was the one that killed Dewey. That's why I'm talking shit about him. Like, you know, that's just my opinion on that, my theory. But I mean, who really knows? In Scream 5, in the house was seeing the Ghostface that was about to kill Tara. I think it was two of them in the hospital. Exactly. I think one of them could have been Amber, but the other one that killed Dewey just wasn't Amber, in my opinion. So yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. You know, and people, of course, have their own, you know, theories about, like, what happened, and I just don't. It's kind of hard to say, like, what, if it was camera work, if it was really him, if it was really, you know, somebody else. But I truly do think there was somebody else still. Like there's just no way, no other way around it. Like I'm not gonna. Nobody's gonna change my mind on that. Like. Okay, that would have been 8 movies this Scream, so it makes sense. Yeah. I hope in Scream 7 we return Casey's house. Return to Casey's house and Sydney's house. Return. I think Sydney's house, because if Sydney does come back in this film, which I think is very possible still, I do think that we should go back to her house. The original house from 1996. That would be pretty interesting. And then maybe that's where she's living again. Maybe that's where she lives. Possibly that's where she lives. Probably. Maybe that's where she's been. Maybe that's where she is. Was in Scream 6. Maybe she lives in her original house with her kids and Mark and whatnot. But that's just what I think. I mean, that's how we see Stu's house in the film as well. But like I was saying, all this is just, I really hope it happens. I really hope that Stu returned, and yeah, that would be cool to see. Sydney's old house, her original house from 1996. Yeah, this is the picture from Scream 6. And this picture is believed to be, you already know who I'm talking about. Take a guess, because you already know who I'm talking about. Who do you think I'm talking about? Like, who do you think that Ghostface is? Take a wild guess. Sydney's house. Yeah, Sydney's house. Yeah, Sydney's house is the house I want to see. Again, because we haven't seen that since 1996. Yeah, it's unrealistic, but that comes down to the director. Yeah. Casting director for 90 Pound Girl. Yeah, it's just the way Hollywood is, and that is truly the case. That really does suck. It'd be just so unrealistic if they decided, hey, the 90-pound girl that was Amber, whatever, like, yeah, that would just be unrealistic. I mean, for part one, and they were in Hollywood, and part two, they screamed. I honestly think that Stu will return to Scream 7, honestly. It could possibly be Scream 8, but I think Scream 7 is the film that they need to really push for it, because basically, as much as people don't call it a trilogy, I think it's like a trilogy of Radio Silence. Like, even though Radio Silence is like stepping down, I still think it's kind of somewhat a trilogy. They're doing a follow-up from Scream 6 and Scream 5, so I mean, it's kind of a trilogy in a way. But I kind of understand why people say Scream 4, 5, and 6 are both, like Scream 6 is basically a trilogy, because they go off of, Scream 4. I think Scream 4, because Scream 4 is basically, part of Scream 5 and Scream 6. But I'm just saying, like, Scream 7 is kind of, Radio Silence's version,
Who do you think the owners of the actual stew house would want that from?
Like I was saying, I think it was because of probably money. It was either because of money or because the owners probably didn't let them film there. Like, um, but it could have been like money issues. It could have been, maybe COVID, all that stuff. Um, but I'm thinking it came down to the money. It could have came down to COVID because it would be hard for me to believe that it came. It could have came down to the money, but I don't really know, honestly. Um,
If you had to choose between the Michael Myers house or Stu's house, which one do you find the scariest? I think you
oh yeah, I think Stu's house is the scariest because, like I was saying, Michael Myers' house is kind of like it's surrounded by a whole bunch of other houses, and Stu's house is it's in the middle of nowhere. It's like in the woods, like in the wooded area and all that. Like basically nowhere, nobody around at all. It's just in like the country, like in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, I think I would have to agree with that. Definitely Stu's house.
if Scream 1 and 3 is a trilogy, then Scream 4 and 6 would be a trilogy, right?
Well, I guess so. Yeah, I guess Blucka does have a point. I'm kind of understanding what he's saying. So he's saying that 4, 5, and 6 is basically a trilogy. So I guess that's kind of realistic, you know. Um, I was just saying that like 5 and 6 and 7's basically going to be like Radio Silence's like own trilogy, like you know what I mean? That's basically what I was saying. Like it would be like their own trilogy, but I understand what he's saying as well. Even though Radio Silence is stepping down.
Scream 6 connected to the new characters to Scream 4, even saying that we're in school by the time, so it was cool.
Yeah, basically, yeah, you're right though. I mean, Kirby's a part of Screen 4. Gail, um, Sydney, or not Sydney, but Gail too. So I guess you do have a point, but I was just saying like Radio Silence is their own version though, like their own separate versions. If you watch Scream 1996, you had a little respect for dude when they're at Steve's party at his house. Oh yeah, if you watch Scream 1996, dude had a little respect for dude. Yeah, he did. That's what I'm saying. That's why he would say it's an honor. Because if that's what that means, if that means that you have respect for someone. Well, and if he had a little respect for Dewey in '96, well, that should tell you. I mean, there's really nothing else. No, like, how much more evidence could I give? For people to believe that Stu could possibly be alive. You know.
Video games are really hard to run to compatible. Randomized servers and
Yeah, I don't think it's like I was saying, I don't think it's like impossible or anything. Because there is a lot of horror games, coming out. A lot of horror games actually. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're getting another Friday the 13th game.
made by new developers. And as I was saying, I think they're gonna make a Halloween game, for sure. After probably after like I said, this Texas Chainsaw game, they're definitely gonna do something else, like another project, I'm sure. And my rumor, I'm just kind of making a prediction, but I truly do believe that they're gonna try to make a Halloween game. You know, truly do believe that. This is why mobile market is dominating PC games. Yep, there's a lot of mobile games now on that you could download on your phone and all that. It's more acceptable to have microtransactions by a mobile community than the overall gaming community. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of mobile. Um, it seems like there's a lot more like mobile games, being made now. Like it's more acceptable. Yeah, I agree with that because it's a lot. It seems like I don't know. Yeah, you're right though. There's a lot of mobile games out there for sure. I have a lot of mobile games on my phone. I can't. I don't know if you play Call of Duty or not, but they had this Call of Duty mobile game. They have Madden. They have a whole bunch of mobile games now. Like, tell you if Gale Weathers is a Ghostface Killer, and they were serving us this whole time. That'd be crazy twist. Nobody else did it coming. Oh my god! If Gale was the true killer, I still wouldn't believe that she would be able to kill Dewey like that. But hey, if she was the killer and she did end up killing Dewey or some way, like one way or another, like she like killed him or something just because maybe she was just upset at him or something. I don't know. Man, dude, that would be a crazy twist if it turns out that she was the one doing it all, and it turns out that Stu wasn't. Stu wasn't even a part of any of it. Like that would actually be, man, that would be crazy to see. Like, just imagine us, them saying that she's the one that killed Dewey. Even though I don't find that believable because she is a girl, and I don't think she would be able to do that either. But she is bigger than Amber, So, I mean, I guess certain sizes, it depends on what size a girl is. I mean, but yeah, what if she was the one that killed Dewey? And we get that twist that she was the one that did it because maybe she was angry at him or something and wanted to get revenge and kill him or something because of their divorce. Man. And that would be shocking there. If it was dude that did kill Dewey, why did you not wear original mask? Well, the reason is because if you don't remember, it's new tech. There's a lot more new technology now since 1996. So maybe I don't know why. Actually, that's a great question. I don't know why he wouldn't wear his original, but maybe it's just because it's a new generation now. Reggie and Amber were huge fans of the originals, which would line up more with respecting about Walker. Yeah, I never really cared for Richie and Amber as killers, but I don't like Amber killing Dewey, but it really all we have other than speculative is. Yeah, I don't like it either because it's just not realistic, you know. Like I was saying, even if Gail was the one that actually did it, and Gail was the one that basically get this twist that she was the one that was doing it, like she was the one that did it, and she was blaming Amber for it. Like, I mean, that would be so like heartbreaking, but I would love to see it because nobody would be expecting it. Like, you know what I mean? And just imagine that if he find out that she turned on Dewey and ended up killing him. Like, although I don't think that they would go that route, probably, just because, for me, it's not believable. But like I said, it could be a certain side, depends on how tall a girl is, right? So, and if Gail is taller than, Amber, well, she would probably be able to manhandle, Dewey like that more than Amber could. I mean, who really knows? I mean, imagine that. He was actually wearing Billy's old mask. Yes. I just screen said, what do you think happened at Yep. Yep. I think there's a lot of clues, in that scene especially too. A lot of clues, that Stu is still alive. Like I was saying, that one scene when Kirby and Mindy were talking to each other, they're having that conversation with each other, and they were talking about the TV, and she goes on to say, if he believed he's dead, like Mindy said that, like, so all that kind of stuff right there, like, why would you put that? Why would you put clues in the movie? Like, if you weren't planning on doing something, So I have a feeling that's what they're planning on doing. But although all we could do, I guess, right now is speculate, because you don't really know for sure if it's going to happen, but I sure do hope so, like, because they've been giving us a lot of clues in both Scream 6 and 5, so. Nope. Yeah, Amber did not kill Dewey. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. She did not kill Dewey. I don't care what anybody says. That was definitely a man. Ages ago, I was listening to Colonel Blank, listening to Craven Something Scary, and he said there is a scene or a photo of Steve's on an ambulance stretcher with the neck brace on. Wow, that's very, very interesting. So maybe he is alive, and maybe they stretchered him out, and they maybe covered up his death, or something like that. Maybe they knew he was alive, but didn't, like, because I think truly there's either two scenarios that this could happen. Either Roman could have helped him escape, or Stu could have escaped. Maybe when Sydney was distracted when she was fighting Billy or whatever, maybe he could have escaped during that time, because they weren't obviously watching. I mean, who's to say that couldn't have happened either? I mean, he could have walked out the back door or whatever, and yeah. So I just definitely think either of those are, I don't know which one I believe. I think I believe the Roman theory, that Roman could have helped him escape because Roman was a part of 1996 Scream, quite a bit. A lot of people say that he was the one that was talking Sydney in the video store and also in the at Tatum's house or whatever. Where you see, Ghostface in the woods or whatever. Well, people think that was Roman, like stalking Sydney in that scene because Billy and Stu weren't around. Billy and Stu were basically getting ready for the party, I think, and if that was the case, who could that have been? So my only thing is that it could have been Roman. I mean, that's my thoughts on that because there's nobody else. I don't understand who else it would have been if if they were getting ready for the party the whole time. It just wouldn't make any sense for that to be Billy or Stu. Still. So I definitely think it could have been Roman in that scene. So I definitely think Roman could have helped. Sorry. I think Roman could have helped Stu escape because if he was a part of the events and if he was in Woodsboro during that time, like we're theorizing, like we think, because I definitely think he was. He definitely could have helped Stu, escape the house. I think that's a possibility. Well, Dewey had to die to have a character to care about, die off and give the film stake. Well, you weren't really going to care for anyone else in the film. Yeah, the only person that I really don't really care at this point if they kill is probably like I already know that they're gonna kill Gale probably in this next film. I mean, we all know that they probably will. I mean, they're gonna do her dirty probably too. I mean, that's all I could think. That's all I could say about that. Like, I truly do think that Gale is gonna get killed off in some dumb way, and probably similar to Dewey. Probably gonna be like in the opening scene or something stupid, like. Or it may be in the middle of the movie, but I definitely think that she is gonna die in this next film. And and I said that I predicted that she would die in Scream 6. And I was wrong, of course, but I'm pretty sure that she will die in this next one. I'm 100% certain that she probably will. And Sydney, if Sydney returns, Sydney's not gonna come back. If her character, Sydney, first of all, will never die. Sydney's not going to ever die because Neve Campbell has already said that she's not going to come back if they're going to kill off her character in any way. So she's not going to. So I don't think her character's going to get killed off. I think Gale's going to get killed off, but I think she's the more likely person to die. And possibly Kirby too. I mean, Kirby did survive Scream 6 and 4. So, I mean, it's very possible that Kirby could die in this one. But I would actually love for her to, to live her life, with Sydney or something. Like, I'd rather her just survive, Even though it's a possibility that she could die too. But yeah, I totally see Gale dying. I definitely think she will die in the next one. Of course, if they're gonna make it, if they are gonna make a Scream 7, obviously we don't really know 100%. Which all we're doing basically, all we're really doing is speculating right now. So But I think that they will. I definitely think they will. I didn't like them killing Dewey either, but they had to make it real. Yeah, the only problem was, like I said, the execution. You know, the execution of it was probably the biggest problem for me. You know, I just didn't buy that he forgot to shoot him in the head. You know, like I just didn't buy that because Scream 3. You remember he shot Roman in the head, so it's kind of like he's not just gonna forget that. Like he's not gonna forget. He's not gonna forget what he did to Roman. You know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was this. I don't know. The execution was this. They should have did it a lot better, in my opinion. Like I said, it is what it is. Spent 90% of the film trying to connect everything to the past. Yeah, I know. Like everything, every movie nowadays are basically like the same, you know. So I kind of understand what you're saying. Then they didn't kill anyone in Screen 6, made killing Dewey so pointless. Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's why I thought that Gale was gonna die in Scream 6. Like right after Dewey, like immediately after Dewey. Like I thought it was gonna be like a similar style, kind of like a similar, you know, similar to Star Wars, where basically they kill one character and then kill another and the next one. Like I thought it was gonna be like that, but it turned out to be wrong, you know. And when she got stabbed, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. But then they go on to say, well, if she gets attacked by the killer, you know, I was like, yeah, this is it. She's gonna die in the scene. I was like, yep, I was right. But then they show us that she survives. So I thought she was gonna die though, 100%. There was so much outrageous for minors not being victims. Yep. Actually, they killed some of his friend in Screen 6 and 2. Ghostface Killer's Club. I wouldn't call them killed there somewhere like copycat. Oh, they actually killed someone's friend in Screen 6. Yeah, they killed the Anika girl, right? Like, yeah. And that kill, I think that's the kill you're talking about. Yeah, where she like basically falls off the ladder, hits her face on the edge of the dumpster. Like, man, that was that was probably one of the weakest kills, but definitely pretty bloody. Yeah, but the intro scene was rather pointless as Scream 6. I actually like that intro though. I mean, it was something new, you know? You know what I'm saying? That new scene, you know, that scene was just, you know, something creative. It wasn't like the same old thing that we had gotten in the other films. They actually decided to change it up since it's a new generation now. We got better technology now. So I actually like that opening scene because for a minute there I was like, so after Samara gets killed and the killer's just basically looking at her body like, but then he unmasks like early on in the film. I was like, what the hell's going on here? Usually after he kills him, he usually says, you know, the whole like it gives you the title of the movie or whatever, like, you know, like regular like an opening scene. And when he was just like sitting there looking at her. I was like, wait, what the hell is going on? And then he unmasked, and it was the Jason character. And then after that, he ended up talking to the real killer on the phone. And I'm just like, what? Dude, this is fucking creative. Like, I love that idea, you know? Something new and fresh, not the same thing that we've always gotten, you know? And I actually dig that, you know? It was a pretty good scene, pretty good opening scene. I probably wouldn't say it was one. I don't think it was like the best, probably. Definitely the more like creative ones though. You know, something new. You could remove it from change. Yeah, you could remove that scene. Like I was saying, I think Scream 6 is better than 5, but that's personally just my opinion on that. But no, OG died. I know, that's actually kind of crazy because I actually thought that they were going to actually kill Gale off legitimately in Scream 6. Nah, I turned out, you know, to be wrong about that. There's an interview with Courtney Combs basically insinuating that she was told that she filmed the death scene, not her survivor in the apartment. That's very, very interesting. So maybe they made a decision that maybe she wanted to get killed off, but maybe they made a decision to maybe have her survive. I don't know, because that's very interesting. I never heard that actually. So, wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, she did want to get killed off in Scream 4. I know that. I mean, Scream 5 and 6 are most. Yeah, but I feel like Scream 6 is better, you know, in a lot of ways. Like, that's just me, though. Not that it was disaster, but it does show for yeah, I mean, I just feel like Scream 6 was just more creative. You know, just the more like creative film. You know, that's just me though. I mean, who really a lot of people have their own opinions, I guess, like I was saying. Well, they must have changed it last minute, blocka blocka, for Gale's death in the apartment. Well, that's actually very, very interesting because I actually had predicted that they were going to kill her. You know, now hearing that they were going to do it, but they changed it last minute. That's very interesting. My prediction was almost right. I liked Roman as a killer. He was very energetic and over the top, but not in the biggest of the story. Not to me. I don't think it was dumb. Personally, that's just me though. I don't think it was dumb. I think Roman was, without a doubt, the reason why I think he's the best killer is because I just think he's the smartest killer, like out of everybody. You know, he was the only one basically that worked by himself. You know, the only one to wear a bulletproof vest. He started all the events in Scream 9, 10, 6. So honestly, I really like it. You know, I think he's an underrated killer. the most underrated killer, and I think he's honestly put him above above Billy. You know, even Stu. I like Stu, but I think Roman's just overall is a better killer than like Billy. Like I like Billy too, but I like Roman. Like Roman's my favorite. Probably a little more than Billy. I just think we could follow with the once this thing through for. Oh yeah, I think so too. I think he definitely was. Yep. Yeah, Dewey was protecting. Yes, he was protecting Sydney from the truth because he didn't want to. He didn't want Sydney to. He wanted to protect Sydney. He didn't want to. Yeah, he didn't want to tell her that Stu was alive. And Screen 5, the look he gave his Gale, it's like he didn't know Gale was coming over. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know. And yeah, I definitely think that Dewey knew, for sure. He had to have known that Stu was alive. I just gotta go with whatever the directors and writers showed us until Nick Diamond and Nick Packer. So I feel like it's pointless to speculate. Not really. I mean, it's fun to speculate. You know, it's fun to theorize about stuff. You know. Yeah, Stu. I'll live in Hollywood studio one day. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Stu respected Dewey because when I read it, I just also treat me like the man of the law. Yup. That's why he respected Dewey. And plus, he was dating Dewey's sister, Tatum. So I think that's why he mostly respected him as well. The only real successful horror game is Dead by Daylight. The others are indie companies that try to front roll their launch timeline and they say everything. Yep. Yeah, I like Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight is probably not as good as Friday the 13th, probably, but it's definitely up there, and definitely up there for sure. The craziest twist would be if Sydney killed Dewey and oh no, as you already know, I don't like that theory. I don't want Sydney to be the killer, as I was saying. I don't want Sydney to be a killer. I don't care what she was like. I don't care if people thought she was evil. I just don't care about any of that. Don't make her the killer. Okay? And the reason why is because I was saying she's the final girl. How stupid would that be if he decided to bring her back and then she becomes like a killer or something and she was the one that killed Dewey or something like. Maybe that explains why she wasn't crying, but at the same time, I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that at all, Not that I want to do now, because she was had her thinking outside the box. Her people and her family. Yeah, probably. And yeah, I don't like that idea. If she would have really been a on screen through Gale and Dewey didn't insert themselves. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'm having a little bit of internet problems as well. With Screen TV series, how cool would it be if they had both movies and franchises come together in one big movie? That would be pretty interesting. Like have all the characters that we have now cross, and then have like the TV series, the characters from the TV series like cross over into like the film, until the actual like screen film. That would actually be pretty interesting. It was Sydney that shot Roman in the head. No, Sydney didn't shoot. It wasn't Sydney. It was Dewey. Sydney had to tell Dewey to shoot him in the head because Dewey was the one that took the gun and started shooting Roman. And she obviously Sydney was telling him to shoot him in the head, and he eventually shot him in the head. So it was Dewey that shot him in the head, not Sydney. I'll be back soon. I'm just taking my dogs for a walk. Okay, will be getting off here probably in a minute after I read some of these comments, but okay, another kill is one of the craziest great presidents. Potatoes kill. You know what my favorite kill is? I think my favorite kill is probably when the house blows up in Scream 3. I think that's one of the more like underrated kills, probably in the franchise, without a doubt. What kills Sarah Michelle Gellar in Scream franchise? Who kills her in Scream franchise? Sarah Gellar. Talking about Sarah Darling. If you kind of clarify for me, I don't know what Sarah Gellar. I just kind of fast. Yeah. How's it going, Wayne? Thank you for popping in. Thank you for all the support. But yeah, Russell. Yeah, it was actually Dewey that shot Roman in the head. Because Sydney tells Dewey to grab a gun or whatever, and because originally Roman had the gun, but then Sydney told when Dewey got in there, she told Dewey to pick up the gun, and he started shooting him. And yeah, because he gets up or whatever. Obviously, you know how all the killers basically came back, from one last like scare, like Randy said, like, and yeah, he ends up shooting him in the head. But Sydney kept telling him, What's up, dude? I hope Screen 7 was better than 6. Yeah, I hope so too. I always say that Scream 6, I feel like Scream 6 is personally better than Scream 5 in a lot of ways. But yeah, I do agree. I hope Scream 6 is just even more of a step up. Sydney, Mark, and Gale being revealed as a Ghostface now would be terrible. Oh yeah, that would be absolutely just terrible. I'd much rather just not them not do have Sydney be the killer. I mean, Gale. I mean, I guess it would be okay, but although I don't really like that either, probably because she's like an OG as well, and I don't really see the point, making her the killer now. But I guess if it happens, it happens. Tatum was also Dewey's sister, so and that's who Stu was dating. Yep, Stu was dating. That's what I was saying actually earlier. I said that that's why Stu had respect for Dewey. Wes Craven when Roland's grave as Sydney became a ghost face. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wes Craven would have never in a million years do that to Sydney's character. Like, would never do that. He had never had plans to do that, and he would have never did that to be like he would have never did that. Like, I don't even think he would have killed Dewey. You know, but yeah, he would have never did that. That's one thing that he would have never did. You know. Well, a lot of people are saying that it possibly will. Just because of, if it's going to mirror Scream 3, it's going to be similar to Scream 3 in a lot of ways. Well, they're going to probably have it in Hollywood more than likely. But we're talking about like one half being in Hollywood and then the second half like being in Woodsboro. That would be pretty cool. What I want from Scream 7 better writing that makes sense, unpredictable and originality. Stop copying previous Scream movies. Exactly. Yeah, I don't want that. I just want more originality. I want Radio Silence, or not Radio Silence. I want this new whoever's going to be making the film. I want them to be creative, and think of good ideas. Unpredictable. Make it unpredictable for people, like. Never should feel like aka Buffy the Vampire Slayer plays in part 3 franchise as a Ghostface victim. Oh, really? Um, hold up. Okay, can you guys hear me? I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me still, but um. Sarah Michelle Gellar. Oh, you're talking about Cece Cooper. That's right. Yeah, shoot him in the head. Shoot him in the head. Sydney to do it, sadly. And 5 forgot again. That's what I'm saying. It just doesn't make any sense that he shot Roman in the head, but all of a sudden he forgets in 5. I mean, come on, he's been through that so many times. How is he automatically just gonna forget that? Like, you know? It's unrealistic. Yeah, the one that Ghostface throws off the balcony. Yeah, CC Cooper. Yeah, and Scream 2. But yeah, Russell. Yeah, that was actually, like I said, that was Dewey that was shooting Roman. Yeah, because if you remember, Roman was the one, or Sydney is the one that was telling him, shoot him in the head, shoot him in the head, And then he ends up shooting him in the head. Well, that's why I hated his death in Scream 5. It's because, he didn't remember. He didn't remember. He forgot all of that. And yeah, I don't buy that. Yep, and Scream 2, yep. Do you like my theory about Sydney's husband might have been involved in the beginning and helps to point to hiding, but it might not be true? It's just a theory I have. Oh, that would be very, very interesting. But although I don't think it's probably true, but that would be very interesting. But I would much rather I'd much rather them not make him a killer, just because I feel like Sydney deserves a happy ending. Yeah, I don't think she deserves all that stuff. Having another husband be a killer, that's just me though. Yeah, it was Dewey that was shooting Roman, yeah. Because Sydney had to yell at him, and tell him. That's basically my problem. Like I said with Scream 5, that's why a lot of people were disappointed, because, including me, because in Scream 5 he forgot that you had to shoot him in the head. I just don't buy that he forgot that. That he forgot what he did in Scream 3. That's just not, no. Hello, welcome back. So this is Sarah Michelle Gellar, as you guys can see. I kind of wanted to pull that up a little bit, but yeah, that's actually CC Cooper. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so yeah, that's CC Cooper there. So yeah, I know who you're talking about, Russell. Yeah, from Scream 2. Yep. But yeah, that's pretty interesting there. So nobody will see it coming though, just something to think about. I just don't trust Sydney's husband, and Sydney Prescott will better be careful. Exactly. That's what a lot of people. That's what Scream is kind of like. Can't really trust anybody. And basically what Scream, really is. Can't really trust anybody. I'm gonna show you guys some things.
Got your ass. Kid. Tell me something.
I did. Is that clear?
Kizu, food, alright? If this were a scary movie, I'd be the prime suspect.
Obviously, I can't show too much, but alrighty, I'm gonna back out of that. Okay, we're back. That's kind of what I do because I don't want to get copyrighted or anything. But yeah, speaking of David Arquette, I kind of wanted to talk about this just for a minute before I sign off. Because I am gonna get going here. So speaking of what Russell's saying about them breaking up, Gail and David Arquette, well, they were actually dating in real life. Now, I didn't know if you guys knew, but David Arquette, I heard a lot of stories about him. Lynn McCree actually was talking about him being kind of like mean to her in a lot of ways on the set of Scream 3. So I guess he was kind of like a mean person. And he would cause a lot of problems, I guess, for a lot of people. That's what I've heard. And I also heard that's the real reason why, him and Courtney Cox actually broke up with each other in real life because of it, the way he was. But yeah, I didn't know if you guys knew that or not, but yeah, Lynn McCree, the girl that played Maureen Prescott, Sydney's mother in Scream 3, was actually talking about that. But yeah, it's very interesting. I actually never heard that before until she was telling the story about it. She was basically saying that he was kind of a dickhead to her, and that he's a dickhead in real life, apparently. And I never knew that until, she had said that. So it's very, very interesting that, that he's like that. He was being mean to her. I don't understand how somebody could be mean to her. She's a nice girl, And I was just and I heard that he would just start a lot of problems, in the hotel, in hotels and all that. And they'd go stay at hotels, and he would cause a lot of problems. He'd party a lot, all that. That's what I heard. So yeah, that's kind of sad and unfortunate that he's like that, like the real person, David Arquette. But I was actually shocked by that, when I heard about that. And he's the one that killed Tatum. His boyfriend Dewey would be great. Oh yeah, I think Sam. I don't really know. I don't want them to mirror screen like the whole Sydney thing all over. Um, I'd much rather them just do something new and fresh. Personally, I don't want it to be similar to like the whole Sydney and Billy thing. You know. Actually divorced. Yeah, that's what I was saying. They were married in real life. They were actually together in real life. Because I think when they started doing the screen film, the first one, that's when they really fell in love with each other. And yeah. Well, I heard a lot of bad stuff. It's very shocking to hear that kind of stuff. When you hear, that David Arquette is actually, he's not a nice person. Like, that's actually crazy. Because he's like a party pooper and all that. He likes partying and all this shit. That's crazy. I've never like personally heard that until I heard that from Lynn McCree. So yeah, it's very. There's people like that in the movie industry. It's unfortunate, but. Yeah, they were. How cool would it be if they skated out every night? Can you imagine this dude's house covered with snow? Oh, that would be very, very interesting. I always wanted, a screen film. I always wanted a screen film in the snow. When David Arquette went into wrestling and when him and Cody Cox went downhill. Yeah, that's what I heard too, and I heard a lot of bad, stories. Like I was saying, like in terms of him being mean to people, causing problems, and yeah, it's crazy. It's unfortunate, because you see him playing, the role of Dewey or whatever, and you think he's a nice person and all that, but the real person's actually not nice, Yeah, doing the TV friend. Yup. I think David Arquette did he was in the TV show Friends. He does like I think he did like one episode. And I have to go. Okay, man. Good night. Yeah, I'm about to sign off myself. But I hope you guys have a great night. As always, Good night, Wayne. Thank you for popping in. But I am gonna be, getting signed off here, guys. Thank you, Russell, Blanca, Wayne, Scott. Thank you all for, popping in, showing, the support. I am gonna be getting signed off here though for tonight because I have been going for about 3 hours. So I hope you guys enjoyed, tonight's stream. Be sure to hit the like button as always. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna be trying to go, live tomorrow probably. But I hope you guys have a great night and yeah, look out for tomorrow. Like I said, another stream. Possibly. 1 minute here. Let me Okay, y'all. I'm gonna be getting signed off here though. I hope you guys have a great night and good night. And I had fun. Definitely a lot of fun, talking about Scream and just the whole radio silence situation. But I hope you guys have a great night and peace out.